content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you.
What's good, everybody? I'm GG. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chasers, man. Shout out to everybody out there, man. I hope y'all having a good afternoon. Hope everything is well with you. Before I get things started, I'm just going to shout out everybody who's a member of the Green Gorilla channel and then proceed. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. So big up to Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Rashid Barnes, Blacksword 404, DF, Rais Morjid, Ben Cannon, Kenton, Sherlin Woe, Leon, Black Men Being Brutally Honest, Artisan MC, Dub Will, Mr. Good Dad, Dar, Third Coast X, Roderick Jackson, Michael Ross, 63rd Samurai, Devon Loveridge, Ishmael Samad, The Watcher, Hostile Adept, Red Pill Revelator, Kill the Game, Dr. Thunder, BGS Ibmore, Jason Hales, Charles Finney, Interesting Thought, It's Always Jermaine, Naomi Gary, J. Cleveland Green, The Toxic Masculinist, Pulpit 28, Broken Blade, Larry R., Seth Sun, Afro Troop TV, Show Me Spain Man, Seventh Coast Dojo, Anthony Davis, I'm Just Jules, An Honest Look, Ricky Dawson, Stefan, True 7360, Mr. Me Too, Call for President, Gold Professor, AKs and Curtains, H-Town, Rogish the Buildmonger, Adrian Thomas, Electrician 480, Binga Cutting Up with the Jones, and Co., D. Scott, Path Guy 74, Pete Rock, Aaron Peters, Vincent Lindsay, Quiz the Poet, Black Wizard, Jazz Deck, Shadow Observer, Troy Warren, Mrs. KP Bailey, Alan Wiley, The Face, Life of Commerce, AI Apostle, Timothy Blewett, Jeffrey Speed, Marvin Battle Jr., Adam, Ignatz Mouse, Dr. Treat 33, 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, Karen S., Charles Rogers, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean, Charles Gilmore, Greg Berry Little, Mr. Valentino, Cameron 87, Dr. Rock, Mark Swift, Odd Collar, Donald Watts, Coach Hotep, Old Soul Chief, Mr. Blue Collar, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, and Mr. Heat. Also, Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Aaron Smith, DH, A Double, Kalan Jakala, and WPR1. And on the Patreon side, big up to Robert Wicks, Shine Language, Chris Flowers, Christopher Burton, Daxby, J Live, Rashawn Phillips Sewells, Keith Bass, Nick Albert C, Dr. Ben Vincent, I'm the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Pursuer Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, J Bailey, Mr. Michi, Mo Mal, and the Sangwa. Big up to all y'all. And for the other brothers in the at the Real Plane, David Carroll, Forrest Windu, and Kevin Samuels, man. Big up. Thank you so much for your support, man. And if you want to be a member of the Green Gorilla channel, man, and support me for the work I do, man, here's how you do it, and I'll be back with what the main topic is about. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. All right, man, we're back. I'm GG. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chasers, man. Now, let me just say something, man, before I even get started. You know, It's tragic, man, to have a killing of any kind, or, you know, like violence, you know, from black folks directed at other black folks is tragic, especially when it's over some shit that's really petty. And I assume that, you know, whatever happened in this incident was the cause of something that was petty, as it usually is. So this is Carlisha Hood, and we're going to get into it. I mean, I'm not going to show the boy's picture. He's 14 years old. There's no way I'm going to show this kid's picture, okay? That violates rules and ethics. But I can very well put his mother up there. Man, this is just it's a tragic incident here, man. So here's the incident. I'll just read the article, okay? That's what I'll do. I'll start off by reading the article. Okay? So let me go ahead and do that, man. I'm going to present, share the screen. Here we go, man. I hope you all can see that. Should be large enough for you to see. I'm going to make it as big as I possibly can without making it too large to where it's expanded past the screen. So anyway, man, mother instructed 14-year-old son to shoot, kill a man at a hot dog stand. Court documents allege. So I'm just going to read the article and then I'm going to give my assessment of it. So in Chicago, and it's Chicago, it's a lot of crazy shit going on in Chicago, bro. Like, what's going on in Chicago? And by the way, shout out to Show Me, man. Shout out to him. Thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate that. So anyway, a woman and her 14-year-old son have been charged following a fatal shooting at a hot dog stand Sunday, where she allegedly instructed her son to shoot and kill a man. Okay? Carlisha Hood, who has a valid FOID and CCL holder, which means she could have a firearm, okay? Legally. Concealed carry, you know, she can have one. She's facing a felony count of murder and another count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Her 14-year-old son is facing a felony count of murder. Damn. This boy, man, is 14 years old, man. And I understand that, you know, and we can talk about this concept, you know, like the man of the house, quote unquote, the man of the house. And you know, and this is often something that takes place in the context of single mother families where the young boy is groomed to eventually become the man of the house. The man of the house. Shout out to Corbett Goodwin, who hit me up on the Cash App. Shout out to that brother, man. Shout out. The man of the house. And it's often interpreted, this concept, right, in different ways across cultures and so on and so forth, but it's traditionally associated with the idea of taking on responsibilities usually attributed to the male head of a household, such as providing for and protecting the family. But we get this shit twisted, man. So one of the things that you're supposed to do is to teach children responsibility, how to be self-reliant, and how to care for other people. Because these are things that are considered to be universally beneficial aspects of personal development, right? So encouraging a child to contribute positively to their household is a good thing because it promotes maturity, problem-solving skills, a sense of self-worth, empathy, whatever, okay? But it's important to remember that children should be allowed to be children. Children should be allowed to be children because they're still children. If you're 14 years old, you are still a child. a child. But anyway, getting back to the article, man. According to police, the pair were arrested, the mother and the 14-year-old, in the 700 block of West 111th Street after being identified as the individuals who were involved in the fatal shooting of a 13-year-old man at Maxwell Street Express, located at 11600 block of South Halstead Street, just after 11 p.m. on Sunday. So that's the south side of Chicago. I assume, because it's 111th Street, I know as the numbers get larger in Chicago, going, starting with the 60s and all of that, moving all the way further and further south to 87th and King Drive, 95th and all of that. That's going more and more to the south. Okay, but according to the documents, Hood entered the Maxwell Street Express, the hot dog stand, to get her food, but her son was in the car. Shortly after, the 32-year-old man entered the restaurant and an argument ensued between Hood and him. The court documents state, Hood allegedly was texting her son from the store, signaling him to come in. He entered the restaurant during the argument, and then things turned physical. For some reason, the man punched Carlisha Hood in the head several times. Now, that's the first fuck up. You don't, I'm just saying, whatever the case may be, whatever you're arguing about, it ain't worth hitting a chick like that you don't know. Now, if she puts her hands on you, that's a whole different fucking subject matter altogether. But for all we know, these people can have a relationship or a rapport, or they know each other already. No telling. I don't know. That's all speculation, though. But the first mistake that the victim made was hitting this woman, okay? Now, don't know what was going on, but I can imagine, though, but it's all speculation that this woman is, telling my son in the car, he'll handle you. You texting somebody, oh, I got something for you. That's what you don't do. But I can imagine that was what was happening. But that's speculation, okay? So anyway, she's signaling her son to come in the store. So he's seeing these people argue. His mother and some dude. Now, I don't know. If you're 14 years old and you see your mama getting hit, the first thing you're going to do, you're going to protect your mother, dog. You're going to protect your mother. This boy is the victim. Really, to me, to be perfectly honest, the man who initiated the violence, he's not the victim as far as I'm concerned. The mother is not really a victim as far as I'm concerned. That boy, the 14-year-old boy, is the victim in all of this. The 14-year-old boy is the victim in all of this shit. Okay? Because, anyway, the argument quickly turned physical when the man punched Hood in the head multiple times. Then, the documents state, Hood's son displayed a firearm and fired shots at the man, and he sustained a gunshot wound to the back. Now, I guarantee you, even though this boy, don't know if the boy is gang affiliated, but from what I understand, he does not have a record at all. The mother does not have a record at all either. Okay? But one thing you don't do in terms of legally shooting somebody, you don't shoot them in the back, bro. You can't get away with shooting somebody in the back, man. Just as a legal, as a legal way to defend yourself, it's kind of difficult to defend the fact that you shot somebody in the back. And then what is a 14-year-old boy doing with a firearm? I can imagine that the mother was in the car telling the boy, get the banger, man. Get the blicky. Get the stick. Now, you don't tell your 14-year-old son. I know you're grooming him to be the man of the quote unquote, the man of the house, but you don't have your 14-year-old son go get the blick, man. You don't do it. You don't tell your 14-year-old son to get the blick. I'm sorry. That's a mistake. That's an error in judgment. Documents state there was a witness laughing during the incident. He's a jackass himself. You're a jackass. That's a jackass right there. So you're encouraging some shit. First of all, this is pettiness, man. But we really don't know. I mean, the details will come out, will events and, show themselves as time progresses, but we don't know. Anyway, so there was a man who was laughing and then, kind of egging things on. So he runs out of the restaurant and the boy follows him and fires more shots. Now you done fucked up, man. Now you're a 14-year-old. You've gone beyond what is required in order to justify a legal defense of I was basically standing my ground or protecting myself. Anytime you shoot people in the back and you run after people and chase them down, that's no longer protection. That's aggression. That's just unfortunate because he should never have been put in this position to begin with. So anyway, the man sustained 2 gunshot wounds to the back and was pronounced dead shortly after. Hood then diverged her attention to the witness who saw everything, and she instructed her son to shoot them. What the fuck? I guess he was being flippant. He shouldn't have been. He's a jackass for laughing and being flippant to begin with. But come on, man. Anyway, the court documents state Hood attempted to take the gun from the boy, but he pushes her off. The pair then entered the vehicle and fled the scene. So she tries to get the gun back from her son, which she never should have involved at all. This escalated way beyond the point where it had to escalate. Both Hood and her son turned themselves in and were arrested on Wednesday. Hood and the boy have no reported criminal background. They were placed into custody and charged accordingly. Okay, so that's the end of the article, right? Now look, we understand. I understand that, like, if I'm 14 and I see some grown-ass man punching my mother, I think it's my responsibility. It might be fucked up for me to have to take on that burden at 14, but if I see somebody hitting my mother, man, I got to help out, man. I got to help out. But at the same time, you don't put a 14-year-old child in a situation to where they're using a firearm at all. You don't fucking do it. I'm sorry. A 14-year-old should not be groomed to carry a firearm. You don't do it. It should not occur. You don't tell your son, go get the gun, who's 14 years old. You don't do it. I'm sorry. Now, I'm just saying, for legal purposes, one can argue, okay, well, what's the big deal or whatever the case may be. Now, You want your 14-year-old son carrying firearms around? Come on, man. Let's just keep it a buck, man. Kids, like I said, it's noble to groom children to be good problem solvers, to have a sense of self-worth, to develop maturity, and encouraging them, to contribute to the household. That's a good thing. But kids should be allowed to be kids. They should not be forced to take on adult roles or responsibilities prematurely, bro. They shouldn't, man. There's no way that if you are a woman, that you should be calling on your 14, 15, 16-year-old child to handle some motherfucking violence, man, in your behalf. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not his duty at that point. Now, if he's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, whatever the case may be, he's an adult, then he can begin to take on those roles if there's an agreement or an arrangement between you two for him to handle that kind of work. But in reality, if you got a firearm and you've been trained to use the firearm, why aren't you using the firearm? Why isn't she using the firearm and protecting herself? By the way, she's been trained to be able to use the firearm. She's been trained. If she's got a CCL in Illinois, you can't overburden a child with adult responsibilities, because ultimately what it's going to lead to is long-term negative impacts on their characterological development, man. Now, in the context of being the man of the house, you can't encourage your children to use violence or aggressive behavior. Now, but at the same time, though, if somebody is harming your family, it's one thing. But to get a kid, she could have walked out of that damn fucking hot dog stand. She could have walked out and got the fuck on down the road and been about her business. She could have walked on out of the spot instead of going back and forth, tongue wrestling with some miscellaneous dude. She probably knew the man, whoever it was. Because otherwise, what are they arguing over? But that's speculation. I don't know. But she could have left that place. Got in the car, fuck a hot dog. Who cares about a hot dog? A Polish. With mustard and onions and shit and pickle relish. Who cares? He said he had a corner. That's speculation too. So it's all speculation. But at the end of the day, you don't get a 14-year-old kid to do no shit like that. I'm sorry. You just don't, man. And if you can text your son, you can text the police, right? You can text the police. If you can text your son to get the blick out the whip, you can text the police, 911, emergency. You can tell your son, call the police. I'm in danger. You don't tell your 14, I'm sorry. You don't tell your 14-year-old son to use the blick. I'm sorry. You just don't, man. You don't. You just don't, man. Now I'm going to let some people come up and tell me what their opinions are. You can say what you want. Because I see people have differences of opinion about this. I just don't think the children should be carrying around, 14-year-old children, male or female, should not be carrying around firearms, protecting their parents from harm. I'm sorry. I just don't believe that should occur. But while I'm doing this, let me. Miss Sunkiss was cracking. But before you speak, I want to shout out Show Me again. Shout out to him. Big up. Shout out to Aaron Peters. Big up to you, sir. Appreciate that. And also, thank you, Sunkiss. Appreciate that. Okay.
No worries.
Andre 416. Shout out to you and Professor Black Ops, Cybersecurity for the People. Shout out to you, man. He says facts. Boy is a minor, going to have a felony before he gets started. What a fucking tragedy. Andre 416 says, can't wait to see the playback later at work. Should see the B-Dubs defending this, shaking my head, about to take my daughter to a movie, though. Respect, Gigi. Respect to you. And, you said he deserved what he got. I mean, I guess the guy getting shot, I assume, he behaved like one of those folks that need to be wiped out. I'm donating to GoFundMe, a good lawyer, and they will walk. This was self-defense. It's going to be hard to say it was self-defense, though. When you shoot somebody in the back,
well, the way they were standing and him coming into the building, he didn't have no choice but to shoot the man in the back when he beating on his mama. He had that woman off in the corner punching her in her face. So if he coming in and he trying to get him off his mama, he ain't got no choice but to shoot her in the back. Now, if the part where they say she told him to chase him down and shoot him, they showed a second part of the video. They don't show that part. If you watch the video, you hear her tell her son to actually go get in the car, not go get the gun. Now, I don't know what was going on in them text messages because I haven't seen it. But the woman went in, pulled up in the parking lot, got out of the car, went in there to order her food. I don't know what transpired before that man came into that store, but while she's standing there waiting on her food, he started, they getting into some kind of verbal altercation. And he said to her, if you don't shut up, I'm going to punch you or I'm going to knock you out. And then he proceeds to punching her like she a whole man. Her son gets out and he had the gun on him. And he shot it.
Yeah, but my issue, though, is, my issue is that a 14-year-old shouldn't be holding down the fort, man. Not with a gun. Especially if you're... I don't believe a 14-year-old boy is mature enough to handle duties associated with killing or shooting, especially if they haven't been trained to use the firearm. I know this 14-year-old ain't been trained to use a firearm. I'm pretty sure.
Now, see, that's what I'm not so clear about, because from listening to people that live in Chicago, they train their children how to use weapons because that's how violent it is there. So I don't know nothing about the culture of Chicago or whatever. I just know what I hear and what people say. I got associates that I know they moved out of Chicago because they didn't want to rear their children there. So I don't know what was going on with that. I don't think the child should have had the gun either, but I also don't live in Chicago and don't want to live in Chicago. So I don't know. I do think it's an unfortunate situation. And if she, if what is in the article reports is true, then she got a line. I do think the contributing to the delinquency of a minor charge is something that she should keep. But I don't think that they're going to stick them with maybe the mom, but I don't think that 14-year-old gonna get a whole murder charge, because if you look at that video, that man didn't have no business punching that woman like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that video, so I don't know. But before I just hold tight, I'm gonna let the elder speak before you, truth teller. But I want to give a shout out to Dennis Sperling. He just hit me up, man. Appreciate that. Dennis says, this is proxy violence of the worst kind. Why sacrifice your son's life? Terrible situation, which could have been avoided had she just left. Sunkiss says, well, she might not have been able to leave. She might have been kind of coerced into staying into the spot. But then the question becomes, why contact your son and text him or communicate with him? Why not communicate with the police? Why not call at no time are we hearing that the first option that she had was that she took was that she called the police. I would assume that if you know Chicago is as dangerous as people say it is, you carry your firearm wherever you go, right? If you got a CCL, you don't give the gun to the son. That's just my view on it. Like you're the adult, you handle it. You're the one with the certificate You handle it. Okay? You handle it. Okay? That's my perspective on this, but that's just my perspective. I'm gonna let the elder speak first. And shout out to Dennis, man. Shout out to Dennis. Again. Baba.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Talk to us. Tell us what your opinion is about this.
First, I want to say peace and blessings to the brothers and sisters in the chat room. And peace and love to you, my brother.
Peace and love, man. Peace and love, man. Glad to see you here, man.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. Very, very sad. Because no logic was used, no common sense was used. It was senseless. I don't believe in no man beating upon no woman, but a lot of people don't understand. I don't argue with nobody. I learned that from you. You don't argue with nobody because you don't know what they go. And it was senseless about standing in line to get a GMO garbage ass hot dog.
Right, right.
You know, that didn't make no sense. And then the child, if I was the judge and he came to me, I make sure he do his time with a relative. He ain't got no business being locked up. That woman used bad judgment. The dude who she was arguing with used bad judgment that made him a victim. And then she had no business telling no child to go get no gun to do that. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, that I agree with you.
He did right protecting his mama. Because I'm gonna protect my mama, I'm gonna protect my sister, I'm gonna protect my brother if I see somebody trying to hurt them or do something, do something wrong. Or I'll try to infuse it or, try to be a peacemaker. But if it get out of hand, or he go to do it, the young brother, he's the victim.
That's
out
what
of
I
all
said.
this nonsense.
Yeah, I say the boy is the victim. He's the victim because.
And another
all,
thing, can I say something?
Go ahead.
That if they put this in evidence, she in big trouble, that woman, because how you gonna take the gun and try to hurt somebody else that was laughing or something? I think if some dude was making fun, she wanted to hurt him and other witnesses. So that go to tell you right there, she's a violent woman. Why you want to hurt somebody just because, that was stupid for him to do that anyway. But I'm just saying, that go to show you where her mindset at. And
exactly.
The jury and the prosecutor going to look at that. Because she is the cause. I don't care what nobody say. I made a video about it. Their sisters getting all on me. Because like I'm going along, I ain't going along, I'm going along with common sense.
Yeah, don't let them shake you, Baba. Don't let them shake you, because they'll try to shake you, man.
Okay.
Because right is right, wrong is wrong, whether it comes from a male or a female. Bottom line, right is right, wrong is wrong. Poor judgment.
If it was my sister that did something like that, I would love her from the bottom of my heart, but I would tell her, you dead wrong. You could walked on out, went on about your business, call the police or whatever. How you gonna put a child to be your man? Because a lot of them do that shit. All right, no, let me. I don't want to get into it.
I mean, you can talk. Yeah, you can say your words, man. You can say your words. But
yeah, a lot of them think they're young boys is their husbands and their boyfriends. That's the way they.
Hey, you said that one. You said you got a bond for that one. You said that right. Your son is. I said this a long time ago. 2 years ago, I made a video. Your son ain't your man. Your son ain't your man. Your son is not charged with the responsibility, especially 14, 13, 15 years old. Your son is not your personal security force. He's not. He's too young, for one. But this is the kind of shit that happens when men are pushed to the periphery of family life. Not boys, but grown-ass men are distanced from family life and they don't have interactions with women. Because if your husband is there, if your boyfriend is there, right? He's the one that's gonna come to your aid and protect you if there's something going awry. But a 14-year-old, that boy, man, just grew hair on his genitals, man.
And she didn't mess up his life for good, because that's gonna be on his record.
That boy just grew hair on his genitals, man.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, and I want to shout out Passionate Rebellion. He says there's too much misinformation out there, and this is important though, because this is part of the record, right? The man was shot and ran. Okay, but his mother told her son. The mother told the son, "Go follow him and kill him. Kill him." Now, I mean, it's one thing to protect yourself. It's another thing to chase somebody down and to shoot him and kill him. That's not self-defense. I'm sorry. Now, I mean, I understand the drive, the desire to protect your mother, especially if you see your mother being manhandled. We get that. Okay, we understand that. But we don't know what precipitated the events. Now, I do know if a woman can tell her son to go out and murder and kill somebody, she can definitely start a goddamn argument inside a hot dog restaurant. I'm like, has the potential to be in the wrong related to this event. Now, I'm not saying she is, but I think she is in the wrong in telling her son to go murder. I'm sorry. It's one thing, you know, like, as a natural reflex, the kid would have seen his mother in a jam and helped her out. But it's another thing altogether. This is what happens when you have a lack of men in your family life. This is what happens. The son is pushed into a situation that he's not ready to handle. He's not mature enough to take on. It's unfortunate. But I want to get truth teller. I'm sorry, bro. That, you know, I guess we were spending too much time talking. But King, I'm gonna go ahead and let you weigh in, and then if anybody else wants to say something, this ain't gotta be no 3-hour show here. But King, go ahead and speak to us really quickly if you got something to contribute.
Yeah. Well, hello everybody. Like the OG said, peace and blessings to everyone. If you, of course, you haven't seen the video yet, but if you see the video, the dude, yeah, he flipping out. The dude is wrong. The guy that got shot for putting his hands on a woman. However, he gave her several chances. He told her to shut the fuck up, basically, get your food and leave. So going back to what the attorney said, if she just would have been quiet and left, her son and her would not even be in that situation. So
right.
when I seen that part, I'm like, damn.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Then,
you mean to tell me that a woman has to shut up because some degenerate nigga done told her she got to shut up?
I wouldn't shut up. If I was in a situation,
wait, we all can't go at once. Everybody,
and while she's trying to feed herself and her child, some degenerate Negro run up and started talking crazy to her. So because he told her she got to shut the fuck up, that's what she should have done. That's the world we living in right now. That's what y'all saying.
Yes.
Okay, sister.
Think about the consequences. Like think about the results of her not shutting the fuck up.
Right.
I want you to in the grand scheme of life and the importance associated with principles. Tell me what's the greater principle? Walking away and living to fight another day, or being so indignant and recalcitrant and so stubborn to the point where you're ready to call your 14-year-old boy into the restaurant a fucking hot dog stand to shoot a nigga.
I can't say that she called him any of that because the video don't show none of that. The video shows her telling the boy to get in the car
after he shot the guy.
This is before the shot rang. She told him to get in the car. So what's being put out in these articles and what's being shown in these videos are two different things. I watched the video
saying that she texted her son. So while dude was yelling at her, she was texting her son. Her son came in the midst of dude right after he hit his mother. So even if your son didn't have a gun, if he came in there and he saw you got hit, his natural inclination would be to help you. However, if you just would have left, one, why are you out at 11 a.m. at night in Chicago by yourself as a woman. I mean, 11
So
p.m.
now,
at night.
women got to have rules about how they can walk around because we got degenerate males running out here that don't know how to behave.
Yes.
They got. Can I say something?
Yes.
That's exactly it.
That's crazy.
No,
Well,
it's
black
not.
women need to move away from black niggas. They need to
No,
get
you
away
can
from
get
niggas
that
because you
with
ain't
ladies
safe.
too.
That's
Ladies, that's
exactly what y'all
BS.
sitting up here saying. You ain't safe
So,
around
Joe, let
these
me stop
niggas,
for
so
because
get away
she's
from them.
talking nonsense. You are there to protect your child. You're not there
No,
to.
she was there to feed her child. She wasn't trying to protect
She
nothing.
didn't.
She was trying to pay for her food, get her
Yeah,
food,
I'll
and
walk
go
you out through
home.
the logic. This is exactly what Gigi was saying earlier when he read the story. She had a legal firearm. She left in a vehicle with a 14-year-old child at 11 p.m. at night and went into a rough neighborhood to a hot dog stand.
She
First
probably
of
lived in that neighborhood.
all, it don't matter.
She should have
You
took the
have
gun.
a firearm to protect yourself.
Look, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Here's what should have happened. If she is the owner of the gun and she feels the need to have it on her person or in her car, maneuvering around in Chicago, okay? We already, the pretext of living in Chicago, you said what you said earlier, right? You already know it's a violent place. It's ghetto. It's
Yes.
the hood. That's like me walking around the Ninth Ward in New Orleans, or like walking around the Calios back in the day, or the St. Bernard, or the St. Thomas projects. I'm walking into some shit that I know can lead to some fucked up shit going on. Now, I'm not saying I don't know who started it, really doesn't matter, okay? But here's the deal. If you feel like it's gonna be some drama wherever you're going, if you're the adult, you gotta be in the position to handle it. A firearm is the great equalizer. Okay? It is what it is. I know for a fact a firearm is an equalizer. You shoot a grown man who's 300 pounds and can bench 500 on the bench press, you're gonna fall him down. He's gonna fall like a tree. Okay? He's gonna be hurting. Okay? So she should have been able to handle that work because she's the adult. She's the head of the family. She's the protector of the family. If she's the only individual who's in charge of it, it's her who's responsible. She's responsible for where she goes, what time she goes there, what she's carrying with her when she goes, whether or not she is able to de-escalate argumentation, especially like my firm belief is women, whatever the case may be, when it comes to dudes, stand the fuck down. Even I will stand, like if a dude talking a whole bunch of shit, now if he presses the issue, that's one thing. But if a dude is talking a whole bunch of shit, I'm gonna say to myself, is it really worth me getting into it with this dude, man, or me walking out of this fucking restaurant? Man, fuck this shit.
Can I only say
I'm gonna walk the fuck out of the restaurant. Cause what's the result? I already know what the result of me going back and forth jaw jacking with a random dude that I don't know. It's gonna lead to death. I done seen it too many times.
I do agree that she should have had the weapon on her, not left it in the car with him. I do agree with that.
She should have had the gun with her. She could have handled the shit herself. It's not her son's duty. It's not a 14-year-old's duty to protect his mother from harm. Now, I mean, I understand that there's going to be an inclination for him to do it. We get that. We understand that. But he's not supposed to be able to bear that weight at 14. No boy should be thrust into a situation to where his mother is texting him, "Come help me, son." That should not occur. You should not put yourself in any situation to where your son, 14 years of age, has to come to your aid and get some nigga off of you because you in a restaurant arguing with this nigga. And especially if the nigga told you, "Hey, cut all the bullshit out, man. You can stop talking, man. It's time, man. I'm done with it. Just get the fuck on, man. Quit fucking with me." But we done seen it. There's a lot. We know women have the expectation a lot of times that they could talk shit and that there will be no consequences for them talking shit. There'll be no consequences or repercussions for them being aggressive and disrespectful. Now, I'm not saying that the man should have ever put his hands on that woman at all. He should not have, because he brought whatever happened to him to a certain degree on himself.
Get out.
However, there is no reason in the fucking world that a 14-year-old boy should be charged with the responsibility or even put in a situation to where it's necessary for him to step up and to use lethal force to protect you. You're not supposed to be in any danger. I can see if it's, like absolutely unavoidable. But if a motherfucker telling you, kick rocks, man, quit fucking with me, it's all good. Stop fucking with me, you good, you Gucci. Leave me the fuck alone. If somebody gives you that language, you leave them the fuck alone. You don't tell your son to go get the blick, I'm gonna fix you, bitch ass nigga. You don't do that. You leave his ass alone.
Yeah, none of that is what was going on. That man deserved everything he got.
The man deserved to die?
Yes, he did. If you look at this video, you can tell he deserved to die.
Even if a man punches a woman, so that man deserves to die if he punches her.
No, it ain't because he punched a woman. If you look at this video and see the way that this man behaved, he's like one of these people that needs to be wiped out. He's part of the reason why black folks got the reputation they got. He deserves what he got.
That's one of the men that they choose to lay down with.
We ain't talking about who nobody laid down with. That ain't the topic. We talking about this nigga.
She said he
degenerate behavior. Got him in the ground. They got these two people with charges. That's what we talking about.
What did you see on the video? Did you not see a man?
I see a woman that came into a store to order her food, and then it pans to this man coming in. Now she's standing against the wall. She don't have the exit. He does. He backed all the way up, pulled his arm all the way back. He punched this woman in her face in a corner of the restaurant. So telling her he can shut the fuck up and leave him alone. He the one that had the punch.
No, hold on. I'm not saying that. What I'm asking you is that a sentence for death?
Yeah, this nigga needed to.
That's too much for me. That's bullshit. Son Kiss, I'm telling you, that's right. Son Kiss, come on, keep it a buck, man.
I know. I'm sick of Chicago looking the way you do. I'm tired of Baltimore looking the way you do. I'm tired of all these.
But y'all raised them. Y'all build these.
I like to finish what I'm saying.
Come on now, wait. Hey, slow down, man. Hey, look, we gotta slow. Hey, fuck all the yelling right now. Fuck all the baggage force yelling, bro. Cut that shit out. At the end of the day, I'm gonna say this. This is my feelings on it. If there's a woman that thinks that like death is the charge, or that death should come to like a woman is harmed in any way that the sentence should be death, I think that's extreme. That's draconian. It's nonsensical.
The way he behaves.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nowhere in the common law tradition where punching a motherfucker in their face and then you shoot the motherfucker in the back. There's no legal way to defend that. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Let
me explain. Also, there's no legal defense of telling a minor to go kill a nigga that basically is running from a gunshot. There's no way to defend it. I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to defend that in a court of law. She's going to jail. Now, son, he might be able to somehow find a means by which to escape some of the punishment associated with this shit. That woman, there's no way you can tell somebody to go murder a motherfucker after they've been shot already and they running. There's no way you can justify that. It's not going to happen.
Can I say something?
It's not gonna happen, man. The only thing I can say is, look, I don't know. We can only speculate. Unless more information comes out, we don't know why they started arguing. We don't know if they knew each other before. We don't know who the initial aggressor was. We have no information related to any of that. We don't know. And the argue that we do know is to speculate. My only thing is, I'm saying this and I'm standing on it. There's no way in fucking hell that a 14-year-old boy should be charged with the responsibility of going and fucking shooting somebody on behalf of his mother. No way, bro. No way. No way, man. No way. And I'm standing on that. There's no way. And if a Negro, look, I'm telling you, if a 400-pound man that looks like the fucking, like the Undertaker says, hey man, shut the fuck up, man, or I'm about to bust off on your ass. Then I'm in a restaurant, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say, you know what? You got it. I'm out that motherfucker.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to do. Now you might do something different, you know what I'm saying? But me, if a 350-pound man says, shut the fuck up, nigga, or I'm gonna smack the shit out of it, and I got the opportunity to de-escalate and get the fuck on down the road, guess what I'm gonna do? You got the best go, man. I'll holler at you. That's what I'm gonna do.
Especially
you got it. You can have all these motherfucking hot dogs. You can have all this shit. I don't want none of it. I'll holler at you. I'm gonna get some peace anyway.
Oh.
That's what I'm going to do. Because it's one thing, the greater principle is, in this situation, it's not about who's right. Because I'm guaranteeing you, going back and forth, there was a disrespect going both ways. At the end of the day, what resulted in the greater harm?
Well, he lost his life, and now that 14-year-old boy is facing charges.
But the woman is facing charges more so than her son is. That boy is not going to be, he's not going to be punished to the same extent as that woman is.
I honestly don't think neither one of them going to be punished to the same extent from looking at their video.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, when if you tell a motherfucker to go, if you signal to your son to go, to go chase him.
But that's what I'm saying. All of that is speculation, because I sent you 2 links in the back chat. Don't neither one of them videos line up with that bit of information. So I'm waiting for the court case or the PD to come out, because I don't see that. In that video, I seen her tell her son to go get in the car. And then that man proceeded to punch that woman in her face several times. And then a shot goes off. The camera cuts off. The next they're walking out into the parking lot to get in the car. You don't see this man that's supposed to be shot and they chasing him. You don't see none of that. So I don't know where that comes from. The video evidence says that.
Can I say something? Can they ever say something?
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
You hear me?
Go ahead, Baba. Go ahead. You got the floor.
I ain't got nothing against this sister that's talking. But they got a lot of black women that do evil stuff. Stop trying to put like only black men in this world murder, rob, steal, or kill. But that's the way you talking. You talking like all black men are evil and unrighteous. You got it wrong, my sister. I'm listening to the way you saying things. They got a lot of evil women. They got women that don't even take care of their children.
That's right.
They had an accident in New Orleans a couple of weeks ago. Little girl that killed the little girl and put her in the garbage can. You know, all women are angels, but they're not.
I'm by no means saying that all women are angels, but I'm not going to sit up here and I'm not going to also not going to sit up here and pretend like in these inner cities there's not an issue with these men. Because that don't make no sense for that man to pop off on that woman. That's a woman he don't know. So imagine what he's done to the women he do know.
Well, hold on. I know what you're saying, and let me get it clear to everybody listening. I don't think she should not be able to defend herself. I think very clearly she should, and she has the right. Also, I think she does not deserve a beat just because she smacked the guy. So I'm not saying that at all. I think the gentleman should have been prosecuted. I don't think he should have been shot. I think he should have been prosecuted accordingly if he assaulted this woman based on something she said to him. On the other side of the fence, she was in a store with her teenage son in the car at 11 o'clock at night. There's a very large gentleman in front of her that can pose a very serious danger to her. She did not have a firearm on her. She should have retreated, right? Most states that have legal firearms, the rules are if the other person isn't armed, you're supposed to make an attempt to retreat. And if you can't retreat, then you can use your firearm as in your defense. That is not what happened at all. And we don't even know the whole story, but we know that is not what happened here. So I want us to put down this whole, she shouldn't have been able to take somebody's life because she received a beating. As men, we don't have that expectation. If I get into a fight with somebody and that person happens to die in that fight, there's a very good chance that I could be charged for his death. And we all understand that. For some reason, women think that those rules don't apply to them. Fine. He's a bad man. There are bad men everywhere, but there's also bad women.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we keep hearing this from our women saying, hey, these men out here, these women are worse. I don't know if you know this, but the probability of a child abuser is actually more chances of it being a woman than a man.
I didn't see this a bunch of times.
Yeah, we don't talk about how dangerous women are to our kids.
I talk about how dangerous women are all the time, but I'm the loud voice in the 40s. But I'm not finna sit up here and nail this woman to the cross because that's ridiculous. It don't make no sense. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I lived in Italy, and when I lived in Italy, at any point of time of night, I could go out with my children and I didn't have to worry about their safety. The fact that you're saying that this woman is out at a certain time of night, all kinds of things go on when
you hear what you just said. The fact that you have to be out at night and have to worry about your safety, don't you think that's a bit blasphemous?
No, I think that speaks to a problem inside of America is what I think it is.
No, it's everywhere. Why?
No, it's not. I didn't have to worry about my safety when I was in Europe with my children. Not even a little bit.
Go ahead and take over. There we go. I don't know what else to say because that's absurd. But
let me let Charles Mabry talk. He hasn't said a word yet, so I want him to get his word in.
What's up, family? This is Uncle Charles.
What's cracking with you?
Let me just say this. You got your son life thrown away. You go tell him to do something, and you throw his life away when you could have got that gun and did it with your doggone self. Let me tell you something. It seemed like to me that some mothers, and I mean some, because when you say all mothers, you be lying if you say all mothers. You got these mothers, they raise these boys, they 20-some years old. He laying in the bed, she don't took his car down there and get an oil change. He can get his punk ass up and go do it his damn self. And see, that's the problem. See, that's the problem right there. Every time, what you gonna do next? You gonna help him pee? You gonna help him use the bathroom too? You let him be a man. But you know what my daddy told me? My dad told me a long time ago, if you get a baby out there, the baby is in and you out. You getting out this house because you're a man now. You need to take care of you. Stop. These boys are not your husband. They are your son. And another thing too, every time you look around, they running back home. And what she do? She open the door, close the door. He have a problem with his woman, have a problem with his girlfriend. You can't come back here. Deal with it. Be a man. You was a man when you left. You'll be a man staying out there. See, the generations are all messed all up. See, back then we had to be in when the street lights came on. See, now I can look out my window at 2 o'clock in the morning and see 13 and 14-year-old boys walking the street. Where the mama and the dad at? Where are these parents? Where are these parents? I see the boy flattening this man tires like, left all the out his tires. Now, you know them tires was guaranteed. Not with that little 14-year-old. He made sure them tires wasn't guaranteed because he left all the out of them. That's right. And then he starts hipping and scopping and running off singing. You got no home training. Come and open your door while you're in your house, you're in the shower. They got no control of these teachers. Now, let me tell you another thing. These teachers are getting their ass whooped. I'm talking about they getting their ass whooped on the regular. And these children are out of control. We need to start handling our children a little bit more better. What they need to do is pass a law. When your child go out here and do something, you should be charged with it. And then they get somewhere, sit down somewhere. If you can't control your children, you can't control your son, let it go. Let it be a man. I left home at 22 years old. I stayed longer than what I had to. And my dad said, no, you can't come back here, son. I said, Dad, I'm having a hard time, son. If I can let you come back here now, I'll be helping you for the rest of your life. And by him letting me stay out there, I had to learn how to be a man instead of on my own. My daddy didn't go fight my fights. If I got my ass whooped, I ain't see my daddy. Daddy, where you at? He ain't there. See, I got my ass whooped, and he wasn't even there. See how easy that was? I had to be a man myself. And that's all I got to say. Appreciate you, bro.
Peace out, man. Thank you, Charles.
Yes.
Peace out, my brother.
So look, let me just say this. At the end of the day, man, my whole viewpoint on it is this. First and foremost, man. A 14-year-old should not be charged with the responsibility, man, of getting the gun, get the gat. I'm sorry. I know that young boys are out here at the ages of 13, between 13 and 35. Homicide is the most, the paramount cause of death for black males. I do know that. But we also know that a lot of times men are engaging in this kind of lethal violence with one another over protecting women. We know that that's the case. And we know, and I can't say how many cases or instances in which it is the case, but I can imagine that, a large amount of, male to male violence is centered around incidents related to women. I know that that's a fact. Okay. Whether it be you fucking somebody's girl or, like the woman calling on you to do some violence. But, my viewpoint on this is, first and foremost, have a man around you or carry a gun so you don't have a 14-year-old handling your light work. That's my viewpoint on it. And if there's a situation in which you think that violence might occur, remove yourself from the violence as much as you possibly can. Don't fall deeper into it. Try to find a way to de-escalate it. That's one thing black people don't have the capacity to do. We run right into conflict and put ourselves in it in such a way that you can't even step back from it. Somebody will step on your shoes and it'll be the cause for death. Somebody will get into a car accident. Oh, that's an occasion for death. Somebody says something to you that you don't like. That's a cause for death. Like, how many causes of death will we fall into? Some things require lethal force. Some things don't. I'm sorry. Now, I understand that there are a lot of women that don't want to see women get hurt and shit like that. But I know for a fact, punching a woman, to me, is not necessarily a cause for a man being murdered. I don't think that that's the case. I'm sorry. Any more than a woman putting her hands on a man doesn't call for her to be shot and killed. Because we would never say the inverse of that. If a woman is putting her hands on a man, he should shoot the shit out of her. When have you ever heard that kind of shit? When have you ever heard it? You never have. But we automatically assume that if a woman's getting hurt in some sort of way, that the force should be lethal.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that shit. I'm sorry, I don't fucking agree with it.
You can kill a woman with your bare hands.
A woman can kill a man as well. It all depends on what the size of the woman is. Like, there are women out here who can whip men's ass.
Yeah, but that's not likely though.
But it's not likely for a man. How many times have women been bludgeoned to death by a man's hands? How many? We have gone through the data on DV and intimate partner homicide ad nauseum on this channel. Mm-hmm. We've gone over the statistics of statistically, what's the likelihood of somebody starting violence in an intimate relationship? Mm-hmm. And a whole host of things. I've done the research on this. All you got to do is go back through the archives and you'll see that women are just as likely, if not more likely, to precipitate violence in the context of their relationships with men.
Right. It's they equally beating on each other. I get that.
We also know, we've seen it on several occasions where women will be instigators of violence because they don't expect that any harm will befall them for engaging or instigating violence or initiating violence. We've seen it.
Yes, I agree with that as
But
well.
the point is this. This is what you got to begin to understand. And this is what women don't understand for some fucking strange reason. I just don't see why y'all don't get it.
Okay.
In a world that is increasingly becoming more and more such that men and women are expected to take on the same roles, duties, and functions, to have the same rights and responsibilities, that there won't be equal treatment for equal offenses socially between men and women. I don't understand what people don't get about that. I just don't understand it. If it's the case that women have the same kind of rights and responsibilities as men, they can go to work like men, but they don't need to pay any of their bills because 50-50 is fucked up. They can make more money than a man, but they still don't need to contribute money to the household. They can initiate violence, but no violence is supposed to come to them. They can be flippant and ignorant and fucking, off-putting and psychologically damaging, but none of that shit's supposed to happen to them. Like, this is a double standard. Like, at some point, and then, we got TV shows where we see women in charge and doing shit, but at the same time, we're supposed to treat them like damsels in distress. You're sending mixed signals to men.
But that's not what I'm saying at all. I don't agree that a woman should be putting her hands on a man and a man should just take it. However, the woman didn't touch this man. This man didn't know that woman. This man did not put his hands on this woman in a way to say, I'm just trying to set you up. He was beating on this woman like she was a whole man and his life was in danger. Yeah, I feel like he needed to die.
Man, look, all I'm saying is this. At the end of the day, her ass is in jail on a $3 million bond. Now, I know for a fact, unless y'all get that GoFundMe shit, like, unless motherfucker, she get 300 G's, she gonna be in that motherfucker till her trial starts. Now, it's likely, though, that, there's a lot of empathy for women. So it's possible that her GoFundMe can actually accrue that kind of resources. It's possible. But it's kind of hard to defend telling your 14-year-old boy, in my viewpoint, to go kill a nigga. It's one thing for this motherfucker to say, protect me, son, help me. It's another thing for you to tell your son to go kill this nigga, and somebody who was a witness there kill his ass too. It's a difference.
I do have a question for my dear lady. Quick question, and this is your opinion. I'm gonna ask. I'm not saying there's evidence of this or we should come to a conclusion of it. But do you really think he just started beating on her out of nowhere?
I watched the video. He just said, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna punch on you.
Gotcha.
And she told her, and first she told her son to get in the car. And he was like, get in the car. I guess he thought she was talking to him. So she was saying something to him. I guess she was trying to explain to him that she was talking to a child. And then he pulled his hand all the way back and he started wailing on the woman.
Now, I just want to give you back what you just said. You assumed a lot of grace just in those few sentences. You assumed that she was just talking to her son and telling him get back in the car. You assumed
she looked past him, pointed behind him, and said, "Go get in the car." So I'm assuming she was talking to a child.
Right, and then you assume that, the guy must have thought she was talking to him, and then she probably
because he repeated after her. He said, "Go get in the car." That's what he said. Yeah.
And then she probably tried to explain, and then he just started beating on her.
That's exactly what happened. The link is in the back chat. You can look at the video.
No, I get you.
Like, I'm a pretty reasonable person. I'm not gonna be one to tell me like I don't think men should put their hands on women. I really don't, but I do understand.
I don't think they should either. But I just want you to understand what you think is reason. What you just explained is not reasonable.
I don't think
none of what you explained is reasonable. So I just want all the gentlemen listening. This is how it works with our women. Nothing wrong could have been done by that woman at any point in time. And when I say wrong, I'm not saying anything she did justified him putting his hands on her. So let's make sure we get that straight. But in her own mind, she made up a story for this woman not being wrong.
Give me
The gentleman's fault.
Hey, look,
But I don't know nothing about none of that. I just know what I saw, and I know if they get a decent lawyer, 9 times out of 10, they won't have a murder charge.
That's all.
Hey, look, we don't know. Look, we don't know. This is all I do know. If it's the case, because all of this is just allegations. If it's the case that the mother didn't instruct the boy to murder anybody, then the whole charge is unfounded to begin with. Okay? But if there are witnesses, they can attest to the fact that she told her son to go murder this nigga and to kill this bitch too, because it's a woman who's egging it on. The woman it's supposed to be a woman who was egging the shit on. Now, if she told her son to go kill her as well, just like, it's alleged that she told her son to go shoot this man, then it's gonna be an issue. But the one thing that you gotta be cognizant of, you can't have your son protecting you, man. You can't have this is what we need to learn from this whole debacle. Don't have children fucking protecting your life, man. It's unfair to your child. Do you think this is fair to this boy, man? For a 14-year-old boy to be going through a fucking murder trial on your
Not
behalf?
at all. Not at
it's
all.
It's not fair to me, man. It's not, to me, I would never, ever, I have 2 children, 2 girls. I would never want them to have any motherfucking connection to anything related to helping me out in terms of something illegal. Or, I'm just saying, God forbid, even a son, if I had one, I would not have my 14-year-old son go on a motherfucking mission with me to go knock some niggas down. I wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't happen. Now, I don't have a son, but if I did, I wouldn't have my son go ride with me to go ride on my enemies or some shit like that. Would not occur. At all, ever. But there's some reason in a woman's mind to use a boy child, as a form of protection. And that shit needs to cease, because that should not be his function. And then not only that, where the fuck is her man? Where the fuck is this boy's father?
I said that in the chat.
Where the fuck is he at?
Where is he?
Because now I'd be pissed off like a motherfucker at her ass if that was my son. Like, what the fuck you doing in the goddamn hot dog stand telling his ass to come in and take care of your light work? Then why the fuck wasn't you shutting the fuck up when this nigga said shut the fuck up? Why you keep talking? That's just what I'm gonna say if that's my son. Now I ain't gonna be, I'm proud of this. I would be proud of my son for protecting his mother, but also I would be pissed off at his mom for having our son be involved in this nigga shit. Cause that's what this is to me.
I mean, at 15, he should have been with his daddy anyway. He got no business with his mama.
I agree with you on that one. I have a daughter who's 15. If I, not knowing the whole story, just what you explained that you saw in the video, if my daughter hopped out the car because I was arguing with somebody, I'm heading directly to the car. Because in my mind, I'm worried about my family. I don't know what could pop off in these streets. That's the first. My first thing is, let me get my kid out of here. But that's a man's way of thinking of protecting his family. That's why we protect y'all. Because that's the way we think. I need to make sure my peoples is safe. That might mean me sacrificing myself. That might mean me evacuating my peoples out of here. But in this case, she didn't think that way. She thought what she thought was, he ain't gonna touch me. And if he does, I got my backup. Problem. Her backup was her 14-year-old son.
I think she thought she wanted to get her food, and if she left, she would still have to find food, and maybe something ain't open, and maybe she would have to thaw something out at home, and she need to get her child fed. So if this
That's a
nigga
lot of
just leave her
innuendo.
alone and she get her food, she can get in her car and leave. Because that's what women's
That's a
mind
lot.
is. Yeah, we have a lot to think about. It ain't always, oh yeah, my son back here, he got my back. No, I gotta make sure this child eat. And
So you
it's
tell me
late.
she couldn't leave and go somewhere else?
If it's late, where else can she go? I don't know. I
Wendy's,
don't live in
McDonald's,
Chicago.
Well, she
I
Wendy's,
don't
can't
know.
go.
McDonald's,
I
She
don't
can't.
think she just said, well, it's 11 o'clock at night. This the best time to
Hey,
Wendy's,
get this
She
McDonald's,
food.
can't
twenty
come.
four hour drive-throughs.
Like,
Hey,
she
look,
don't
hey,
know
look. At
what
the
She
end,
happened.
can't.
look. So we're getting to the point where it's like,
She must
look,
be can't
That's
cook.
what I'm saying. We
You
don't
Taco
know what
Bell.
happened.
hey,
The
look,
fact of the matter
hold on
is,
now. Wait. I'm gonna cut it. I want everybody to be quiet for a minute because I got to do some housekeeping here. Okay, I need to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with
The elder want to say something.
Giogami. Shout out to him for the $2 super chat. Shout out to Money Mike. He said a man would have swallowed his pride in the situation if he's with his child. I kind of agree with that. I would have, but we don't know. Okay, if sometimes to me, I already said this. That guy is fucking wrong for punching this woman. Like talking does not mean, or being an ignorant ass woman does not mean that you're supposed to get your ass beat. That's my viewpoint on it. Okay, it's not. It doesn't call for an ass whipping. Okay, being ignorant and talking shit to me, okay, but you just talking. Okay, now if you put your hands on me, that's a whole different fucking situation. Okay, that's just my opinion on that. Okay, so he called some of this shit on himself. Okay, he did. I said the victim here is the boy. Okay, Hurricane Greg says she crazy. I don't know how crazy she is. I don't know. Okay, really don't know. Detroit 313 says no way in hell did she call self-defense. That's first and second degree murder. We'll see. We definitely will find out. ICIP13 says peace doc, peace to him. Ghetto user says support for the scholar. Shout out to him. Mississippi Delta guy said this shit is funny to me. He said, Lord have mercy, Jesus take the wheel. You said that right. You got the cone commented of the day for that one. Also, he says, I'm staying at a very nice hotel. And last night in the lobby, a fight between two black men was started by a loud talking black girlfriend shaking my damn head. And look, all I'm saying is, like, look, me, if some aggressive loudmouth nigga is talking shit to me, you know what? I'm gonna be like, you got it, boss. I've done it before. Because I already know that, like, a person who's really actually, being that confrontational, there's either a psychological problem or there's a social problem there, a lot of pain. So I'm going to let it go. Like, fuck it. You going through some shit like that? Now, if you keep fucking with me, that's a whole different subject. Like, I'm going to try to be amicable initially. I'm going to do all I can to have a reasonable, cogent, intelligent conversation with you. You got to really go off the, overboard for me to fuck you up or to even insinuate or to think about fucking you up. You got to be protractedly engaging in violations against my dignity for me to do that. I'm not going to just come out and just start banging on motherfuckers. That's not what I'm going to do. But if you keep fucking with me, I'm going to end up banging on it. It just is what it is. That's just my opinion, okay? Now, you step on my shoes, that's not a cause for me to be violent with you. You talking shit, that's not a cause for me to be violent with you. Unless you say you threaten me, right? Then that's the cause of violence. As soon as you say I'm gonna whip your ass, then that's the cause for me to be able to fuck you up. No hesitation. As soon as you say those words, I can fuck you up in my mind, okay? But even if you say that, it's got to be the context in which it's said, the environment in which it's said, and whether or not I'm able to protect myself. If it's 5 guys standing around and they like, nigga, shut the fuck up or we gonna whip your ass. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. But when they leave or I leave, I'm gonna be talking again. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna put myself in, like, I'm not gonna be rash to try to demonstrate that, like, I'm fucking hard. I'm not gonna do that. And look, the reality, come on, Belinda, like, keep it a buck, man. Black men don't protect black women. Why is another man fucking dead? Explain that. Explain it. I want you to rationalize. I want you to go syllogistically. I want you to think about what the fuck you're saying here. You got a boy, a 14-year-old, who who killed for his mother. But the only thing you can muster out of your mouth is black men don't protect black women. When a 14-fucking-year-old boy protected his mother. But you still have the audacity, the niggadacity, to say that black men don't protect black women. Now, black men don't protect black women they don't fucking know. That's definitely the case. We know that people in the world are going to be subjected to violence. But the idea that all black men don't protect black women because a black woman miscellaneously got her fucking head knocked in does not authorize or legitimize the statement black men don't protect black women. Because some black women get subjected to violence. It's fucking, it's inane. It's illogical. It's non-factual. It doesn't make any sense. Violence is going to happen in the world. If you look at the record, if you look at the data, you will see that across the board, the people who are subjected to violence more than any other demographic is fucking men. God damn. The vast majority of death does not happen to women. The whole idea that there's some sort of femicide taking place is absolutely fucking absurd. It's not happening in that way. It's absurdity. It makes no sense. We got to learn how to resolve conflict and stop being hyperbolic. The only thing I've ever said is, and I'll say this, men and women have the capacity or the ability to exhibit either virtue or vice. That's male and female. Women don't get a pass just because they have labia. I'm sorry, they don't. If they're being vicious, they can expect a vicious outcome. If they're being disrespectful, they can expect a disrespectful outcome. If they're rash and out of control, they can expect rash and out of control outcomes. The same for men. But nobody laments a man getting his ass whipped for being disrespectful or out of hand. Nobody says anything about it. It's just fucking business as usual. If something happens to a woman, everybody's willing to push the pause button and to sit back and reflect on why it happened and how there's some innate hatred directed towards women. As if, like, female species in the biological, compendium of animality, like, they don't engage in violence so they never get hurt. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, are we living in a moral fucking bubble? Like a fucking snowmobile? Or are we living in reality? I don't understand it. And I'm just tired of hearing white women's talking points being utilized as some justification for niggas getting killed or getting locked up. I'm tired of hearing this shit.
But that's kind of disingenuous.
Disingenuous how?
We gonna act like it's not a problem in these inner cities with the way that certain black folks behave.
Man, we already know that the reasons that the inner city are the way that they are complex and multifaceted. Now, one of the things we can point to, if you want me to break it down for you and give me my micro and a macro assessment, I can tell you. For one, macro, it's a lot of poverty in inner city neighborhoods and a lot of deindustrialization and the outsourcing of jobs, which left a lot of black folks who moved to places like Chicago, left them without like the capacity to actually support themselves and to continuously enter into the middle class. They probably need to leave and be a transient population and get the fuck out of Chicago and move to the South or somewhere like Houston, Atlanta, North Carolina, be transient and move to where the work is. Because the work has left the Midwest. So that's one thing, okay? The second thing is, when black people moved from the South to the cities, what they did was they left the social environment, the moral, ethical environment of the South, which was based on Christianity, and moved to the city, and they just started doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do. They started fucking who they wanted to, stop having families, all of that shit. Start living in the projects. It's a free-for-all. There is no ethical or kind of like overarching mores anymore. It's the prevailing ethos is some nigga shit. Exactly. Now we can talk about who caused it. It ain't just black men causing this shit. It's also black women causing this shit with their behavior. Now we can sit back and talk about all the boys being out here wilding and shit, but if there's no goddamn grown-ass men to rein in their fucking behavior, then what the fuck do you expect? Because this, to me, is an indication of a lack of supervisory discipline and responsibility on the part of that woman, in my viewpoint. If I'm with a child, I don't give a fuck if I'm trying to be hard as motherfucking Scarface. I'm not gonna do it because I'm with my fucking child. I'm gonna swallow my pride in a situation like that. If I got my daughter with me and some ops is right there, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn my fucking ass around and act like I'm meek and humble. I'm not gonna be indignant or recalcitrant. I'm not gonna say shit. I'm gonna keep my fucking mouth shut. I got my kid with me.
Okay.
I'm not subjecting my daughter to no bullshit over what? My pride? What's right? Because when you got two duties, the first duty that I got is to my daughter and her safety and her livelihood. Not to my duty to not be violated by some nigga in a store. And I know the situation with niggas is fucked up to begin with.
Okay,
we don't know how to resolve conflict. We don't know how to shut the fuck up. We don't know how to move on. We don't know how to say, hey, enough is enough, males and females.
So if you a woman and you surrounded by that type of behavior, you gonna swallow your pride every time, put yourself at an inconvenience every time.
Man, look, let me just say this shit. If I got my child with me, every time if I got my daughter with me, every time some bullshit about to pop off, if I could de-escalate it, I'm gonna de-escalate it. So what I'm supposed to be let's say, for example, I'm in a motherfucking hot dog stand, my daughter in the car. I get into an argument with the nigga in the hot dog stand, my daughter in the car. The nigga shoot and kills me. What the fuck she supposed to do? What is she supposed to do?
Call somebody.
She can't help me. What the fuck? I'm sitting there lying in a pool of fucking blood. Because I ain't say, you know what? All this nigga shit that's occurring right now ain't really worth it. I'm gonna walk the fuck up out of there. I'm gonna de-escalate because I don't need to be right. You know what Kevin Samuel said, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Like, I don't need to be right in the situation when my daughter's there. I need to first of all, I gotta be preoccupied with not just me and my dignity at that moment. I gotta be worried about the integrity of my family altogether. I can't just be worried about me and some nigga talking shit. I gotta be worried about my family. Now this woman, I guarantee you, she's reflecting on the course of events that occurred, and she's asking herself at this very moment, while she's locked up probably in Cook fucking County, whether or not what she did was the appropriate thing. I guarantee you that shit with a $3 million bond, that's 300 G's. That's a lot of cash over. I'm sorry. That's a lot of bread. And they levied that bond precisely because they made it high because they don't want them to get the fuck out. That's high. Now, she might be able to get it. You know, they can create a legal defense fund. She might be able to get out. Because I don't think that she should have been pounded by some nigga over some bullshit. It was unnecessary. But I do know this. You can't shoot motherfuckers in the back, and when they running, you can't go outside and gun them down. Whether you 14, 13, or 12. They already try 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old boys like grown-ass men in the United States. There's a precedent for them fucking executing our asses at very young ages. So what you think they're gonna just all of a sudden change their course of behavior because it's another Negro who might get fucking, you know, like the electric chair or like life imprisonment? Now he might, I'm hoping that they'll be cognizant of his age and be like, okay, he couldn't exercise judgment in the way that, you know, like a normal individual would. An adult. But my viewpoint on it is, come on, man. Like, I would never put my son in that situation. As soon as a nigga start talking shit to me, I'm out of there. That's me. I'm not going to engage in who's right in some Negro fuckery. I'm not, especially if I got my child with me. Now, if I'm by myself, that's on me. But I'll be goddamn if I got my youngest daughter with me. My youngest daughter right now is fucking 20 years old. She'll be 21 in January. I used to carry her with me everywhere, all over the city of St. Louis. Fair, Kossuth, Natural Bridge, Kings Highway, the county, every goddamn where. We in the mall, the Galleria, we going to the meals, we eating, we doing everything. I'm taking her everywhere with me. She goes where I goes. One thing I'm not about to do is have her around the dice game while I'm fucking sitting in there fucking gambling or some shit. Or in the Chinese rice house and shit. I'm in that motherfucker talking shit, getting in an argument with some nigga. I'm gonna walk out of that bitch. Fuck that rice. I'm gone. There's some static. What happened, Daddy? Where's the rice? Don't worry about it. We gonna go down to the other spot and get some more rice. I ain't gonna even let her know that I just got into some nigga shit. I'm not gonna even let her know. Cause why should I worry her with that bullshit? But we have no issue whatsoever. We have no problem inviting boys into that nigga shit. We have no, I wouldn't invite my daughter into no nigga shit. But we have no problem inviting young black boys into that nigga shit. None whatsoever.
I don't know. I don't know. This is an unfortunate situation. I do agree with you that child shouldn't have had that gun. She should have had that gun on her person.
She should have had the gun on her person, bottom line.
She should have had the gun on her person, and probably this wouldn't have never happened the way it did.
She's the adult. She's the adult. She's the one that has to handle the defense. Sorry, I understand that traditionally it's the idea that it's the man that's supposed to be the protector of the house, right? That's the traditional role, right?
Yes.
However, are we living in traditional times?
Nope. Not at all.
Does she have a traditional family?
No.
So therefore, the traditions have to be suspended because she's not engaged in a traditional social familial arrangement. Bottom line. So yeah, she has to take on the responsibility, the sole responsibility of protecting her family. Now, right. I'm not saying that it should be that way, it ought to be that way, but let's face it, there are a lot of women who like it that fucking way, who fought tooth and nail to make sure that it is the way that it is.
She's responsible for the protection of her family because of the way her family is structured. She should have had it going on her person. I agree with you. If she'd have had it on her person, this 14-year-old boy wouldn't even have to deal with this on his summer vacation because it's crazy.
Okay.
But all I can say is, look, we're not gonna resolve this. Everybody's gonna have a difference of opinion. I'm about to wrap it up, but I'm gonna let Baba speak first, followed by everybody else on the panel.
Yeah, I was finna
After
hop
which,
there.
I'm gonna close it out. So, brother Baba, go ahead and speak for us.
Well, this was a good commentary, good commentary, and that's just like you said, we all got to take a responsibility. If she would just left, I'm 75 years old. But you think I'm gonna be sitting up there arguing with some psycho over a hamburger or a hot dog? But I didn't live 75 years. The reason I lived 75 years because I noticed I don't deal with the streets. And when I was young, I dealt with the street, but I learned, this, that, and the other, not to do this and do that. Because, you know, you can lose your life fast, especially these days. Because life ain't like it was when I was coming up. You didn't have this kind of nonsense. You had family structures. When I was coming up, mother and father, everybody in the neighborhood had a mother and a father that was working, that was putting down discipline, and all the people I know grew up to be men's and women's working, taking care of their children, just because they had a family structure. There's no family structure these days. Women want to be the men and all this other nonsense. Yeah, they do. Some of them want to be a man. They want to tell a man what to do. And I ain't never seen it, and when I was coming up, it wasn't like that. It's a whole different structure right now because we have been programmed and conditioned by European society. We have been programmed and conditioned to hate each other. We have been programmed and conditioned not to love or care for each other. The Willie Lynch syndrome is still in full effect because long as we are divided, we ain't gonna never get out of this nonsense we in with the gender wars, the economical wars. Because even black people got money, they don't put nothing in their neighborhood try to make it better. They go take all that money and give it right back, Mr. Charlie and Miss Becky. So.
Well, shout out to you, Baba, man. I appreciate you, man.
Okay, peace and love to everybody in the chat room, all the brothers and the beautiful sisters and the elders out.
All right, man. Be peaceful, man.
All right.
All right now. So next I'm gonna get Sunkiss. Go ahead, Miss Sunkiss. Speak your piece.
I just want to say I agree with you. That lady should have had the gun on her, and then this young boy's life wouldn't be in this current situation. So I do agree with that. And thanks for having me up. I enjoyed the conversation.
For sure, man. You're always welcome. We don't always agree, but you're welcome. I ain't gonna shut you down because you got a difference of opinion than me. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
So I'll let you.
Come over here.
Peace out.
Later.
Peace. True Teflar, man. Speak to us, man.
Hey, I think this is a very good conversation. I definitely enjoyed my little bits with Miss Sunkiss. I just want us to kind of understand what we're working with out here with these ladies. And again, I don't think the sister should have been assaulted. I don't think she should have faced what that gentleman did to her. And I think he should pay the penalty for that, and which he did. And just like you said earlier on, he brought this on himself. But the bottom line is, and Miss Sunkiss exhibited this, most women are so entitled they think they can walk around not having to worry about their own protection, much less the protection of their children. They think that is something that is somebody else's responsibilities and not theirs. The problem with that is they want to be considered equals. And if you're an equal, that means you have to worry about the conditions that may affect your safety and take responsibility for those as well as that of your family. And it is what it is. I just feel very sorry for this young man. His life did not have to go this route if his mother would have been better prepared and made better decisions. And I hope he can come out of this and make something of himself. Once he gets a little older and get some therapy and get some help because he's gonna need it. That's it for me.
All right, man. Be good, brother. King, go ahead.
Yo, I actually stay not too far from now. I was thinking about going up there to show the video, but I'm not about to put no evidence on your channel. I think that the lady should have walked away. She had opportunity. That's what I was gonna say earlier. But people in their mouths and they pride and their ego. I always appreciate your channel. I always support it. Please keep up the good work. And for you, sir, even though you feel like you don't get enough support, those of us who care about you, we support you as much as we can. Please keep up the good work. Also, personal request: can you and Dr. Tia-san write a book together?
Hey, man, we'll work on it, bro. We'll work on it, man. So you be peaceful, man. Thank you for the kudos, man, and the adulation, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Wow.
All right, man. Take care, bro. So look, let me just say this, man. Look, the only thing I always say is that look. I'm tired of all of the blame being placed on black men. So I'm not saying that black men don't fuck up. They do, but black women fuck up as well. Okay. So this whole idea that black men need therapy, yeah, they do, but so do black women. We just got to be cognizant of that. We need to stop playing games and trying to, take all the pathology that exists in black neighborhoods or in black family life and just attach it to males. That's just not going to work. I mean, I want you to think about something. Just recently, and I'm going to hold on, let me just show you this shit. Recently, there was a woman, a mother and a daughter, who basically accused of dismembering their own fucking grandmother, man. Like, what the fuck is that about? So you don't think they need therapy? Literally dismembering their fucking mother, their grandmother. What the fuck is that about? And look, I'm not saying that black men don't have issues, but to put all the pathology in family life onto men and to act like there's nothing dysfunctional happening with women, like only black men are impacted adversely by the weird conditions that they've been thrust upon in this culture, and everybody else bypasses it. It escapes them. It's like the Passover. Like black women just got they got the blood over their door mantles, but like black men just don't get it. They don't have the mantle. So they get killed by the angel of death or touched by evil where it bypasses everybody else in the black community. It's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. So do men do fucked up shit? Absolutely. We know this. But there are countless tales, man. Look, just like this woman is saying, look, there are countless tales of women doing the same shit as black men, man. Countless tales. Countless and countless and countless. If you know the numbers, you would know that. If you look at the research, you would know it. But if you just go with like traditional storylines and shit like that, at the very same time that all of this drumming up of domestic violence was brought into law, at the same time that it was, the reality is that black women were the leaders of intimate partner homicide in the black community. At the same time, all of these laws about DV and intimate partner killing and all of this shit came up, it was the case that black women were the leaders of domestic homicide. But we don't want to talk about that, because to talk about it means we got to move outside of the realm of what's normal or what's ethical or what's morally acceptable. I'm here for the truth, man. I'm not saying that men are perfect. I'm saying that women aren't perfect either. At the end of the day, that's all I'm saying. Now, if you want to look at the statistics, man, look, I always have my receipts, man. If you want me to go to it, I'll show it to you. I'll demonstrate it to you. In terms of DV, I got clips. I'm going to talk about this shit this week as well, okay? If I can find this damn document, hold on. Fiber. I just want it to be known. I'm waiting for the document to pop up here. Okay, so let me display the screen. Because this is important for people to understand. Now, this is across the board. It's not just black men and black women. This is men and women in the Western world engaged in DV. But we know that in the black community, the rates are higher, especially with bidirectional violence being instigated amongst men or to men. So this is Martin Fiber. It's an annotated bibliography with references examining assaults by women on their spouses or male partners. And it's basically an annotated bibliography which describes 43 scholarly investigations, 270 empirical studies, and 73 reviews that demonstrate that women are as physically aggressive as men or more in their relationships with their spouses or opposite sex partners. And the aggregate sample size reviewed in the studies exceeds 440,850 people. Now, if you know anything about sample size, that is a humongous sample size. That's humongous. Anybody wants the annotated bibliography, all you got to do is look it up. It's online. Martin Fiber. This is Martin Fiber. It's not, this is public, this is double-blind, peer-reviewed research. And some of it's done by women, not just men. Study after study. You can access it, it's online. Martin Fiber, references examining assaults by women on their spouses or male partners, and updated annotated bibliography, Martin Fiber. Sexuality and Culture, 2014. There are leading scholars in this field of study who've demonstrated decade after decade that DV is not just something that women are subjected to, but that they also subject people to. As I said, man, look, Martin Fiber, man, look the shit up, Belinda. Stop, don't be lazy. Don't make me do it all. You do some work. But I'll put it out there. I'll put it, since you won't be lazy, I'll put it out there. This is not bullshit. There's your reference. But the idea that only black men are hurting people and that nobody else hurts people in the black community is a lie. We need to stop telling lies. Belinda, you got to go, man. I'm tired of dealing with this troll. I got 720 motherfucking degrees of resolution. If you got a jackleg TV or a jackleg computer screen, I'm sorry. I'm not going to 1020. You want to fund the Green Gorilla channel, you can, and I can work on, getting 1080. But other than that, you got to go. Holla at you. I'm tired of you trolling the goddamn show. I'm trying to help you out and give you information. But again, here's what some of the foremost scholars in the field have to say.
The bottom line is that in partner violence and domestic violence, women assault their partners. About the same percent of women assault their partners as men. It's not the same percent are not injured. Women are more often injured. But that doesn't change the fact that women attack as often as men.
And what is the reactions to lectures like these? We understand that you've been censored, things like that.
Yes, generally people refuse to believe it, despite a lot of scientific evidence showing that these are the facts. In fact, overwhelmingly, 230 studies as of a couple of months ago, and people refuse to believe it. It can't be true. Everyone knows that everyone is supposed to know that men do this, and men do it, but so do women.
And lastly,
what are the practical conclusions of these kind of researches? What do you call to change in the world?
The main practical conclusion stems from the fact that when women assault a partner, they put themselves at great risk. They've set the example.
Try me. I won't miss. I promise you. I promise you.
Get out!
And if we're going to end violence against women, we have to take steps to end violence by women.
it ain't just a one-way street. This is a two-way street. It is what it is. So, and then not only that,
it's about a black woman who can't walk down the street in safety. I lived in Boston for 9 years. In 1979, 12 black women were murdered in a 4-month period in Boston. I lived in Roxbury. That is a black community in Boston. What did it mean to me and to every black female and black man in Boston that 12 black women were murdered precipitously during that period? That's what black feminism is about, to try to explain that.
I'll tell you what, Jet Magazine, which I read every week.
I do too.
And which is very reliable, published some Justice Department statistics that show that more black men are being killed by women than the other way around. Now, when I say that, the feminists get emotional. They say, well, that's not true. It must have been because of self-defense. But I think that men should stop killing women.
They should stop killing each other.
Women should stop killing men.
And black men should stop killing each other, too.
One should not be singled out as the repository of all evil in the world. And I think we agree on that.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg.
So anyway, I wanted to show those clips because there's a lot of people who have a lot of assumptions about what black men are doing, and none of it's empirically based. It's just a bunch of assumptions and assessments predicated upon some shit that they saw from Lifetime TV or something. Like, we dealing with reality here, man. I study this shit. Go look up Charles Murray. Dr. Murray Strauss. Look him up on YouTube. The shit is on YouTube. He's got a series. He's got like at least 2 videos on YouTube. But I can't find them for you at this moment. But anyway, man, if you find the content valuable, man, please share the video. Please like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I got more information to give you, on a periodic basis. Some people think that, we're out here complaining. But, my viewpoint on that is, like what we're doing here, you can kick rocks. That's how if you don't like it, I'll let you. You ain't got to observe it. You can go do what you got to do. But if you enjoy the content, man, please like the video. Please share the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And if you really like it, you know what I'm saying? Hit me up on the Cash App, $G with a PhD. Or, become a member of the channel. Or hit me up on the Super Chat. Or give me a super thanks. But anyway, having said all that, man, Appreciate you joining me on this Sunday. This was impromptu. A couple of guys, emailed me. One guy hit me on Facebook, and in the messenger was like, hey, look, I need for you to talk about this. I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and do it then. So it's done. I'll be back with you this week with some more information, man. Y'all be peaceful. Have a pleasant afternoon and evening. Talk to you. Be well. One. Peace out.